Hi everyone, this is Jim from Model Train Technology, and I wanted to give you a quick tutorial today on the options for connecting our LED scene controller. This is the micro board, and you can see there are a lot of holes around the outside of it. So the basic navigation is on the left hand side here. These are all common, the negative ground that you can connect your LEDs. You can bunch up a couple of grounds. You can just use one wire coming out of that, however you want to do it. And then along the top here are the 16 ports plus 2 grounds on this side. And we'll show you why we have 2 up here, just making the pinouts a little bit easier. So that's the basic board. What I start out with after I've, as part of our testing procedure, we have a right angle 2-pin connector, and I'll just connect that up to power here, and you'll see that the blue light goes on. This is the DCC inside, and this is pretty simple. So when I disconnect this, if this is the way I want to connect the board, I just solder the pins on the back. And what we have here is exactly that configuration, and you'll see the blue light will go on, so there's power to the board. You'll also notice that there's a row of pins on the bottom of this board. In the smaller N scale layouts, I don't put the pins on, because what I can do is put the wire through the hole and solder it, and I can make that a very small footprint inside the building, both the thickness and the dimensions. So, but there are other configurations where this is a lot easier, and I put the pins in, and the way to do that actually is to use one of our adapter boards and insert the pins into the adapter board. So we give you a set of pins that go with it and insert them, and that lines them all up. And so when we go to solder, all we do is put that into the hole, and it keeps everything straight and neat, so that after you've soldered through all of those pins and you just pull out the connector, all those pins will line up. And that's exactly what we did here. These are all very well lined up, and here's our adapter board, and just put it in here. Now this adapter board isn't much more than a connector and another set of holes, and these are numbered 1 through 16 plus the 2 grounds. And the reason that you might want to consider this is you wire up your buildings and your LEDs to this, and then you have the option of removing the microboard, and in case it fails, in case you want to do some programming, and that's actually what we do here at the shop. We'll leave this connected inside the building, we'll connect this up, and that leads to another interesting thing. In this case, we have the connectors as well, and we added our surface mount LEDs to this board. You can buy this test board, and what it allows you to do, we're going to just add the DCC power, and I had it on default F8 to just alternate flash. And so now what we can do is we can program the board on the bench, and then disconnect the power, disconnect our test board, and then go out to the layout, plug it into our building, add our DCC, and away we go. So that's a pretty common configuration. All right, so now the next thing is, if you have the pins in, the other thing that you can do is from eBay or Amazon, you can buy strips of these rainbow ribbon wires. Wow, that's a mouthful. And at the end of them is a connection that perfectly fits the pins. So you can just plug these right in, and you can separate these out. These just pull off, and you can separate them out if you want. Here I have another one. And the idea there is you can wire up your LEDs, run these into the building, and then just plug them in. And in fact, you can move them around as you need to. You also can, on the common side, on the grounded side, you can add another, oops, the wrong side, you can add the pin in like that, and you can have your grounds connected in the same way. So those are the basic methods, and those are the most common. Now, there is one more option, and that is, if you really don't like soldering, you have to get, you can order the boards with the pins already in. So this is the way it'll come, just these soldered in. And you can buy our adapter board, but in this case, it has screw terminals that we solder onto those open holes, and you can just screw in the terminal, the wires that you have, and that whole contraption just plugs right into the board. So those are the options, And just show you one more thing, we have another test board that we have here, and it's the same configuration. We have the auxiliary power, we have the DCC lines, and we have an adapter board with LEDs. This one has 4 each of the 4 colors that we offer. And let's turn it off the flashing, and now you can see from the 6500, 5000, 3000, and 2000, 2000 being sort of a candle color. And so that's a way you can kind of match up what kind of colors you want. That's all we have for today. If you have any questions, send me an email and we'd be happy to help you.